He's gonna drop the hammer. He's gonna put a little MC.
Does your headset still work-ish?
Yeah, it works. It's just look.
It's kind of handy. You like you take it off. Steph is like asking you something. Hang on a second. Flip your earpiece off.
Wife,
Oh, okay. Put it
wife
back on.
starts yelling in the background. What the fuck do you want?
The pinnacle of technology.
Watch Logitech come out with some shit like that. Like they see this and they're like, "Oh yeah, let's do that."
Give him 0 credit.
Zero credits. Hang on a second. I'm gonna turn my shit on anyways, and then when we decide to switch over, I'll just end it and then restart it again.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean entirely.
It's like, you guys are ready to stream. We're gonna stop streaming so I can start streaming. What?
Because of the whole Discord and Streamlabs working against each other, the second I open up Streamlabs, I can't go on camera on Discord. So if I want to put myself onto the whole Discord thing, I have to do it before I open up Streamlabs. I have to turn my camera on Discord and then open up Streamlabs. But then if I want to stream the game and show like my face at the same time, I have to turn off my camera on Discord. But in order for me to turn it on Streamlabs, I have to close Streamlabs and then reopen it again.
Right.
Okay, yeah. I have a somewhat of the same issue.
So, I mean, I don't care to restart again. I'll just restart and be like, "Hey, I'm doing Hogwarts Legacy."
Woo.
Do you have a what's it, a stream setup was so you have 4 cameras open?
I do.
Okay, because I'm gonna share my screen so you guys can see what's going on in real time as opposed to watching my stream and reacting delayed like. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. Sure. Okay, well, if that's the case, honestly, I'm really curious to see Hogwarts Legacy and how it runs and talk about all the shit surrounding it because it sounds hilarious.
Have you heard about the Wired review?
Oh yeah, I read it.
Okay. I didn't read it, but I just found out about it like not too long ago.
Oh, I
thought
actually
that was
read
kinda
the
funny.
entire review, and oh man, I would like to see what you guys think about it. I went so far as to make sure and use a link that someone provided from the Wayback Machine just to make sure they don't get the ad revenue from visiting their site. Yeah, so let's honestly, I don't think I have too much to say about The Last of Us episode 5. I guess I do have some things. I don't know why, but for some reason this episode to me just didn't it didn't stick as much as the other ones for some reason.
Are you already streaming?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I said it earlier. It was live. Damn it, now my fans, now that they know that you weren't streaming, they'll know that you don't just drop N-bombs randomly. Shit.
Great, non-authentic Dan.
Okay, let's restart the stream.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so,
Hang on a second.
oh. What is he
Not
doing?
enough money.
Oh, he's darkening his room.
He's pissed.
He's got the mood light going on. It's,
Oh yeah. Set up my stream for you guys.
Set up that Pornhub music.
My camera might go dark at one point, and you might hear some.
Ugh.
Just don't pay attention to it. Don't pay attention to it.
That's a good thing I'm playing Diablo, isn't it? You sick fuck.
One thing that I found out, I find gross, is that I found out that people that have flashlights actually throw that thing in the dishwasher sometimes. I find that kind of gross.
Wait, they put it in the dishwasher?
Yeah, like they turn it inside out and put it in the dishwasher.
Oh.
I
And
don't
put
know.
detergent?
I have no idea.
Yeah, no kidding.
No
But like
idea.
that, wouldn't that kind of ruin the material or something?
I don't know.
I would imagine so, but then again,
I gotta buy
maybe
one
they
and
weren't-
look it up. What?
I gotta test this theory for myself. Meanwhile, they're doing it because they like the tingly sensation they get down there.
Ooh.
It's like it gives you
Also-
static shocks. Oh, well, that's not supposed to happen.
Also, the now new underlying cancer. Yay, cancer!
The underlying cancer. What would give you cancer?
I don't know. Just maybe
Why
the
you getting
material, the
cancer?
plastic, who knows?
It's like,
It was
here,
a
they're gonna
protective
sell you
layer.
stuff
Now it
from
got
the weekend.
destroyed, and
Somewhere down the road, like the CEO of Cascade is like, it gave him fucking cancer. It's like, well, we never thought they'd shove it up their dick. It's like,
We never thought that the combined material of a fleshlight and the soap of Cascade would combine into cancer. But now we know. Now we know how to stop it. The cure was in the fleshlight all along.
no man. So
Ugh.
speaking of flapping about, flesh and material and ooziness, episode 5.
yeah.
Let's yeah, I always ask you guys to start, but I'll start this time if that's alright.
Go for it.
All in all,
I want to blab.
Now is my opportunity to shine.
You took my spotlight.
everyone was like, PT was gonna say something. Oh.
Okay, it's okay, guys. So, there were guys and their characters, and those characters did things, and
Just one last thing before I start. Does my sound different, or do I sound
fine.
different?
Not particularly.
no, you
Okay.
sound fine.
Okay, no, just because I flipped some knobs in the back of my mic, and it's supposed to take the sound differently. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to see if it changed anything.
I apologize. No, I don't really notice much difference.
I think key.
Okay, cool.
So here we
yeah, go
are
ahead.
during peak hours of the Super Bowl, making a review on Last of Us. Let's go.
Oh, is it going on right now?
No,
I have
it's
no
happening
idea.
at 6.
Hey,
Oh,
what?
it happens
Wait.
at 6. Shit,
Yeah,
I was
it
thought it
happens
happened in
later.
the afternoon.
I thought Super Bowl's in the
No.
afternoon.
No, it happens around 6ish.
Okay.
Dan then missed the entire Super Bowl.
So yeah, so I thought the episode, I liked it, honestly. All in all, it was good. I thought the action was good. I like Sam and his Sam and Harry. I think Harry's his brother's name, right?
Henry.
Sorry. I like the story that they portrayed with them. I was really worried at the start of the episode. I thought they were gonna do like an episode 3 thing, where the whole episode was gonna be the focus of them, and we're not gonna see Joel and Ellie. But they very quickly got back to Joel and Ellie, and the whole story progressed with them, which was nice. I appreciated it. 2.5 Men chick again, didn't care for her character. I for a second I got worried that the story was gonna go woke because of the fucking hatred that she has for the dude, and watching the people in her surroundings, like, who are helping her defend and stuff. I was like, wait, is she after him just because he's black? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I was expecting something like that to come out, but no, it's because he killed her brother, the leader of the resistance, or some crap. And apparently that actress has been catching a lot of flack on Twitter for her portrayal of this character in the show.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, she's been
I
catching
see.
a lot of flack. People have been telling her. She made a few statements where she was saying, like, how, yeah, no, your leader of a rebellion doesn't need to look rough and tough and gruff and sound threatening, and like, leaders of rebellions can look like me. That's what she was saying, and I was like, yeah, fair enough, but I didn't buy it, and your character sucked. So, but it's not just her fault. It could be chalked up to writing also. It was a really weak motivation for sacrificing a whole fucking rebellion just for that. Number one. And number two, I said it last time, this poor girl, she fell victim of typecasting. She was too long in that role, and I can't help but see that. Like, it's like Robert Downey Jr., I can't help but see Tony Stark wherever he goes now,
That's fair.
So it sucks, but that's what it is when you stick with a role for too long. I still don't understand why they made the younger brother deaf. I didn't understand the purpose of that. A part of me thinks maybe they were like, yeah, let's do the storyline. People are going to love it. It's going to be amazing. And then they're like, yeah, but this little boy can't act. Oh, shit. All right, well, make him deaf. Like, I don't know. I don't know. And you know what? I didn't look it up, but maybe it's one of those things where that little boy actually is deaf, and they wanted to include, like, somebody with a disability for a diversity quota status meet, or whatever. But nonetheless, I thought the story was well told. The bloater scene, I liked it. I thought it was nice. I thought it was stupid how they went full on World War Z / Gears of War there for a second, where things just came bolting out of the ground. It was kind of bizarre how that went down, but I appreciated seeing the bloater come out, and we saw an in-game death animation,
Yep.
Yeah.
which I thought was nice.
I marked out completely.
Uh,
Just kept, yeah, yeah, it's in the good, represent off, yeah.
And I'm really happy that they didn't change the ending of Sam and Henry's story at all. They kept it just as bleak and just as dark as it was in the game. I didn't appreciate how they kind of changed the things, like where Ellie knew what was going on, and she thought that by putting her blood on the wound would heal him. And I was like, bitch, if that's how it worked, then we don't need to kill you to extract the virus at the end of the game. It's like...
It's a good thing she's wrong, otherwise the show's over, right?
Exactly. I was really hoping it wasn't going to work, or it wasn't going to slow down the transition at all, or whatever you want to call it. Because if it did, then it was like, okay, well, you defeated the whole purpose of the end of extracting the virus from her brain, which in turn would kill her to make a vaccine. And the shittiest thing about this whole episode to me was, again, that chick Kathleen. Ah, man, like the leader of the rebellion, such a stupid character. You know?
Yep.
She doesn't know they plan on killing her? What?
Oh shit! I didn't realize the chat was going off. Sorry. Doesn't know they plan on, but she doesn't know they plan on killing her. Who the fuck? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I too am confused.
Yeah. Or maybe killing off her character. I don't know. But anyways, so yeah, I just thought her plan was incredibly stupid. You're sacrificing like you fought this entire rebellion to have your own thing. Oh, that's true. The actress doesn't know. Yeah, I still, because Bella Ramsey never played the game and she doesn't know the story. That was a specific request from the development team to make sure she doesn't know anything about the story. But it doesn't change. It doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't really change much.
But yeah, so the thing I don't understand about, I don't know why they wrote Kathleen this way, but it's like you have an entire rebellion that you're trying to lead, but you're focusing on this one guy who killed your brother, when at the end you still say that you sympathize with the reasons as to why he's doing it, so it makes no sense why he's such a top priority on your list. And then on top of that, correct me if I'm wrong, but in episode 4 we saw like the ground breaking, like cracking, like something was coming out from under it.
Yeah.
And then in episode 5, well, we saw what happened. It fucking cracked and shit came after them. And so, like, you didn't tell anybody this was happening. You kept that under wraps so you can go after Henry. Like, that makes no fucking sense at all, you know?
It happened in a completely different place, too. Like, they went into some school.
Yeah.
Like, it was basically the gymnasium from the game. You're like, oh, cool, they're referencing that. Maybe they're going to have some kind of action set piece that happens there. No.
Yeah.
No, we're just doing a random city.
Ugh.
It seemed like a waste.
It was strange. And then I noticed some small things that they changed, like the scene where they were playing soccer in the underground school there, in the tunnels.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that scene was in the game was a lot more bleak. It was a lot darker. If you went around and read the letters and stuff that were laying around, it was actually a small community that was being developed, and then they found out that the infection was spreading, and that Fedra was on their way, and how they were gonna kill them, and they didn't know how to protect the children, so they just rounded up all the kids in the room and shot them, and then shot themselves. You know, so it was very bleak in the game, but in the TV show they didn't address that at all. We were supposed to believe. I think Joel said a line where, yeah, probably they got infected and that was it. You know, I feel like the show is really pulling its punches. It's holding back. It's trying not to make it too bleak, which is unfortunate because this is a great opportunity to show them the reason why people like the story so much was because despite how shit things you see are, Joel still found a reason to fight for Ellie. I just feel like that's probably a message that they're skipping on. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me this episode. I liked it overall. To me, the previous episode was still the better one, the best one I've seen so far. And yeah, that's it. So whoever wants to go next, it's weird. I have nothing to say about the episode. It wasn't the best. It wasn't bad at all. It's just to me, it wasn't super memorable either for some reason.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree. I feel like she was like a budget Abby, but like maybe like 5 cents cheaper on a budget Abby. Like, there wasn't really anything like there really wasn't anything special that was like brought to light. Like all she did was just, oh, I have this motive. I'm out for revenge, but there was no real impact to it. And the same thing with Abby. It's like they tried to make her seem like the victim in the whole scenario. It's like, oh, okay, I feel for you, but no, not really. Like at least Abby was slightly more believable. Like she lost her parents from like a young age. She didn't really understand a lot of stuff at that time. You know, she was still very young.
Hmm.
So like I can kind of understand her trying like being motivated from a very young age up to that point and wanting to get revenge. Whereas I don't really know much about Caitlyn and how her brother had died. You only know it's like, oh yeah, he got killed, and I just want to get revenge on Henry because he killed him for a reason that made sense.
Hmm.
Whereas like Abby kind of learned it towards the end of the game, or towards as I guess as the game went on. I don't really remember much of the second game, so I can't really
Oh,
justify what really
I
happened. But
know.
she,
I killed him because it made sense. Fuck him. It's like, I just can't get over it. It's funny.
I,
Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt your flow. Go for it.
it's just that I don't know. There really wasn't like much motivation for me to be like invested in her as a character. Just like, oh cool, they just tried her. I feel like they're just trying to tie in like some extra story to all the characters now, just to give them a little bit more something rather than giving them something to deal with like straight up with Ellie and Joel and make that the actual interaction. It's just like
That
here, we'll inter what's it get them into the story with some other kind of backstory, and then they interact with Joel and Ellie, but only for like a little bit. It's mostly just the other thing that they're trying to interact with, and not so much trying to like find some kind of common ground with Joel and Ellie, or them trying to like they were trying to treat them like what's it, they were going to be traveling together, trying to treat them like as a new pair of people that were going to be there together, and then they end up dying, just like they did in the game.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it felt like they had to put in a story to these characters to give them more depth, but it didn't really do much of it. Like at least the one with Frank and Bill was nice. It was a nice little story for them, but they could have done it a bit. I still think they could have done it a bit better. I think you all agree with that,
Yeah.
and I feel like a lot of other people agree with it. But I don't know. I wasn't really invested in her whole story.
But to be
But
fair,
the action,
sorry, I liked how they developed Sam and Henry's story
yeah,
early on. Like it was short and it established why we should care about these characters, and
yeah,
that was before the whole storyline came out of, oh my god, they're chasing them, they're after them because he killed her brother. You know, it was just
yeah,
you were just invested in these two characters wanting to survive. You know,
yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, no, it seemed like a pretty bad reason to like literally go around town and just start executing and kill, like literally killing off an entire city, just to be like, I want to get revenge on my brother, so let's kill everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna kill everyone. You don't want to help me find my brother's killer. Well, I guess I have to execute you now, just to
Hmm.
show that I'm a mean son of a bitch.
Yeah. No, her
I'm a
character is fucking.
badass. I kill everybody. So
That's
badass.
just
Her
that's how
character.
badass I am. I just
I chalk
kill
her character
people
up to
for
poor writing. It's really bad writing for her character arc.
Oh no,
And
I
and
absolutely agree.
it's funny because the very few times that they choose to deviate from the game and introduce brand new characters, they do an absolute shit job of it. Like
yeah, no
it's
kidding.
shocking. Eh? All right.
No, like I said, Bill and Frank was like at least it had a nice story. It was pretty well done. It wasn't like I still think they could have done better, but it was done well. People really liked the episode. I think we all kind of liked the episode. I think we wanted to see a different direction of it,
Yeah.
but it was still a good episode. No, like no matter how you want to say it, it didn't feel like Last of Us, but it still did.
Hmm.
This
Yeah.
just felt like let's just tack on a villain story and and some minor revenge plot. Have fun with that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel pretty much the same way. It's like it's that TV treatment of a video game, right? Whereas
Yeah,
like you have characters in a video game, it's cool because the video game takes out most of your time. You're interested in that, so it doesn't really matter about the sub characters. Like these brothers were practically sub characters, like a little emotional feel here and there, but ultimately throughout the game you don't really care as much.
Yeah.
Like you're like, okay, it's impactful. It's like Full Metal Alchemist, right? Where
Hmm.
spoiler,
Wait,
where
wait, Brotherhood or the other one?
same result. Girl and dog turn into a
Okay.
hybrid. People are
Oh,
fucked
you're
about
going
it.
that route. Okay.
Yeah, like you want something you want something a little shocking. Like realistically, seeing a dude like kill his younger brother who he clearly cares for, but he turned infected, so he had to, and then realizing what he did and blowing his own head off. Like it's still something that goes like, oh fuck. It's like it's still an oh fuck moment in a game filled with oh fuck moments. So like
Yeah.
they included those characters, and the TV treatment makes them go, okay, since these characters are basically blind as fuck in the game, these people need a backstory. How can we make an episode about it? Okay, cool. Let's introduce this 2.5 man girl who no one seems to believe is actually. I said half man, didn't I? But anyways, but regardless, let's inject this actress into a role about like some selfish like I don't know. It's just it's I agree that it's very unconvincing. Like she's just that for her to play that role misses that menacing feel. Like it's a sister who lost her brother, right? And
Hmm.
she wants to turn the city upside down to find the person who was responsible. But then you see her and you're like, lol, I could shoot you in the face and no one would really care. It doesn't command that respect, though. Okay, what if I do something that's opposing to her? How is she a strong leader to accumulate such a cult following from these people that they're willing to listen to her, even though realistically, a guy in his teens could probably take her? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't have that menacing factor, but then you're trying to take that into a subplot to go with two brothers who basically meant almost nothing in the game. So it like I find it suffered that TV treatment where you had to
Well,
make basically something out of nothing.
I don't know if I agree with the statement that the two brothers meant nothing in the game. It was a huge
Okay.
plot point. That
Oh yeah. But I meant like in okay, well like in the grand scheme of it, it does it like okay, like it has like an emotional point, blah blah blah. But in like in the grand scheme of it, you're at the end. Do you want to save Ellie? Do you want to get the cure? You have this. Like they've already been through a lot. Like in the grand scheme of it, the brothers aren't really a big driving point as far as the game progression goes. Like morally, sure, but like as a whole, maybe not as much.
and because the brother storyline in the game, if I remember it correctly, it was that what their to me their point in the story when it comes to the game was that it put into question what it is you're fighting for, like what it is you're trying to accomplish here, and also is anything at all any of this worth it? Because I remember after that scene, and we kind of saw it at the end of the episode. Ellie was like, "Ugh, I'm done with people. I don't give a shit anymore." You know what I mean? And it helped push that development between Joel and Ellie because I think it's very obvious now. Ellie's in a position where she's fucking down. She made a friend dies, um,
It's not
and
just that, like she also instilled hope into him, saying like,
yeah,
okay, my blood is the vaccine. Like my blood should be able to do something, knowing completely like yeah,
hmm,
okay, blah blah blah. She didn't know it would kill her, but like normal people don't know how a vaccine is made. It's not necessarily going around killing a bunch of people just for one vaccine, you know?
yeah,
Like you don't have access to the medical shit that you need to make a vaccine, so a little girl's not going to know that rubbing an open wound with an open wound is going to do anything. You know, this is not X-Men.
correct.
So
Yeah,
she doesn't know better, but she thought that she could possibly help him, and he believed the fact that, like, even to a degree, I'm sure he knew that he was fucked realistically, but to a degree, she was giving him hope. And then for him to turn infected, and then like the "I'm sorry" at the end, clearly, like it shows that she actually gave a fuck, and she essentially let somebody down.
yeah. And Ananda says I'm not sure to explain it properly, but the woman leader. Okay, we'll call her 2.5 Men. I forgot her name. There was something creepy about her voice, how calm and poised it was. I'm not sure. I don't think it's believable, but there was a creepy factor in my opinion. Well, yeah, well, it was.
Just have the deadpan delivery.
Yeah.
You see, I wouldn't. To me, it's not a creepy factor. It's more of a cringe factor in the sense because like when you're watching a horror movie and something creepy is happening, you want to look away. And you're like, oof, I don't want to like, your mind races and what goes on. But when you see something that's really, really awkward, like an uncomfortable situation, a part of you is like, oof, man, do I want to see this right now? You know? Like, to me, the two are very closely related. So, to me, it was more of a cringe factor than a creepy factor. But, I mean, some people will see a calm demeanor associated with randomly murdering people as creepy, for sure. Jeffrey Dahmer. So
Yeah.
so okay, yeah. She says cringe is a better way. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. So with the brothers is like, okay, with blah 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 said, it was like it was neat that they actually had a whole backstory for them for characters who essentially had no backstory outside of that they're brothers.
Hmm.
So it was cool. And then they dropped a line. I wrote it down like specifically where he was like, oh well, I guess I didn't bring it up, so that's fucked on me. But anyways, he dropped the line where like basically, long story short, like not everybody is like, you know what? I'm just gonna bring it up because I'm fucking it up now. Excuse me. Wow, what a bad flow. Jesus.
This is why this is why we need him to have a camera so we can see him furiously
See me scramble.
searching through his documents.
My documentation.
I have papers right here. He's like throwing papers all over the place, going through a binder. He finds a note. He puts it up on camera. See, I have it written down.
Everything is saved. Well, anyways, move on.
Oh, okay. We don't have the quote. Gotcha.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, but the thing is that
Fantastic.
I feel like in the game, Ellie was put into a position where
Oh.
she doesn't believe anymore. Oh, you got it?
I did, yeah. I'm the bad guy because I did bad guy things. Even though he's like the moral
Yeah.
of the story is like he said it, but then it's like there's so much foreshadowing with that statement that like okay, he's
Yeah.
trying to save somebody that he loves, but he ended up fucking everybody else in the process.
Absolutely.
And then if you know the game, then it foreshadows pretty much the end of it.
Hmm.
And I thought it was pretty interesting that he said that, and that's like one of those revelations
But yeah.
where like the brothers actually matter in the moral of the story thing. It's just I don't know.
For people that didn't play the game, that is a huge foreshadowing moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you look back, you're gonna be like, "Ooh."
I was
that's
still
even-
kind of expecting like Joel to have chipped up and said something like, "Nah, you're not the bad guy," or something to that extent. But he just sat there. I was like, "Yeah, I guess you're the bad guy."
He probably
He
he
thought-
probably knew where he was coming from because he's already
Yeah.
killed a bunch of people to protect Ellie, right?
Yeah.
And like the progress of the relationship, hence like episode 4, was like starting to come to fruition. Maybe he just kind of like had this quiet contemplation of fuck, he's right. I would murder this entire town just to save Ellie. It's true.
If I remember that scene correctly, he just stayed quiet, got up, and they said time to go or some shit like that. If I remember the scene correctly. So and
Yeah,
yeah,
more or less.
I think I would have appreciated it had he acknowledged it and said, doesn't make you the bad guy because of such and such, or if they went the opposite direction and he said like how, well yeah, maybe you're the bad guy, but now you have the chance to make it right or whatever. Like make it so that he disagrees with him. Sorry, he agrees with him that he is the bad guy. And then when it comes towards that scene that's going to show up at the end of the show, where he's going to realize that he's also that person, another moment of a moment that ties itself up towards the end of the episode, just like a callback to that, versus just silence right now. That's just
Personally, I do like the silence just because like the imagination kicks in, right? You're like, I wonder what he's thinking. Does he agree?
that's
I'm
it.
intrigued
Yeah.
how it progresses. So yeah. Yeah, the rest of it, I feel like there was too much backstory, but not enough explanation with it. Like, okay, how is he a great man? Why does this kid actually talk to him as in depth as he is? Why is he super matter? Why is like there's still a lot of like whys, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then for it to just kind of come to a crushing end with the horde and everything. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So it was a bunch of backstory for virtually no reason, just for them to kill themselves anyways. Oh, okay, cool. I feel like I just wasted my entire time with
It was
this episode.
half-assed, like you said. It was
It's a good thing
half-assed.
that the episode was cool to watch, because fuck me, did I just waste my time?
Yeah. Because like you said,
It's
it
like-
was
it's
a
like-
half-assed backstory, and then all of a sudden it just came to an abrupt end. All of it.
Yeah. Like, as far as, like, writing and how it goes and the progression, I think it was kind of poop.
Yeah.
Like, if you had, like, a couple episodes to go on it, like, realistically, if they're going to go the TV route, they should have went TV route. Just, like, don't try to summarize the entire story in, like, 9 episodes. Like, progress, make it an actual, like, season 1, this is what it covers. Season 2, don't rush through it. If you're going to add so much backstory, like, it would make sense, right?
Yeah.
To like expand a little bit to why the fuck we should care about any of this and not just okay, cool, it's just some family feud drama and oh, these kids killed themselves anyways, cool. Well, Ellie, we're closer, right? Cool, moving on, episode 6.
And And I remember in the game there was like a moment between the kid and Ellie. I think the item in which they bonded with together was that comic book that they were reading in the episode.
Yeah.
And in the game it was an action figure, if I'm mistaken. The brother, the younger one, he found this action figure like a transformer or something, and his brother told him leave it, wouldn't have room for that kind of crap. And what's funny enough is like you're in free roam when this is happening, in the game. If you follow Ellie, she'll actually walk up to that toy and pick it up and put it in her backpack. And it ties into later in the game in the cutscene where she brings out that toy and tries to comfort Sam
Damn.
because he asked her, like, "Are you scared? Are you ever afraid?" Because he's bit and he doesn't want to tell her. And then she brings out the toy and she gives it to him, and that was the way of showing that she cared in the game. She wanted to make sure this person was all right. Bananas Banana says, I think the backstory was good. It made you feel closer to the characters. It added layers to their characters. It gave you hope that they would survive. But then at the end of the day, it's The Last of Us. Like I said, I agree. I think the opening backstory for Sam and Henry was good, but the backstory for Kathleen, her brother, that tier 1 bearded soldier that she had there, Tommy.
He's badass. I hope he survives.
Yeah,
Oh no, he straight up died.
yeah, like their story, the backstory was just so weak. Like they kept saying how
I was
her
actually
brother was
expecting
fantastic and amazing.
Yeah.
I was expecting a bit of resistance out of him too when she was starting to tell him to like execute all the people and do this.
Well, because
Like,
you
he
saw
seemed like he was
reluctance in his face.
Yeah,
Like
but he just went along with it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I was expecting a little bit more out of him. I was expecting more out of both of them. At least a little bit more out of her, but yeah, just the payoff was really bad.
yeah. But the one thing that I did notice, and I noticed it when Hybrid was mentioning the scene where, she when Henry took out his brother and that was the reason he blew out his brains, and it reminded me of the scene when Joel had the sniper in the building and he was covering Ellie and the rest of them while they were running away from the horde. All stuff ripped straight from the game, which is it's okay. It's nice to see. But the two things I'll say is that Pedro Pascal's acting in the episode was fantastic in that scene. Like, I don't know why, but I actually bought that he was genuinely worried for Ellie. Like,
I agree.
Like he was like you saw that he was like no, I'm not letting this girl die this way, and turned on plot armor, and all of a sudden every shot he took lands. But before that, his shots wouldn't land. So I thought that was nice, and also the scene where Henry takes his own life. They don't show it to you, right? Because they don't want to be too violent about it. I guess they'd be too raw with it, which normally I would say is like kind of shitty. Like, show me what happens, let me see the brutality of this world. But the fact that they but the fact that they showed you Ellie's face and her reaction to the shot, Bella Ramsey's acting there was quite on point. Like I felt like she was like, no, please don't. And when he took his life, she just broke down.
Like, even the whole graveyard scene, I guess it was the graveyard scene where they're basically burying the bodies, and she dropped everything and walking away, and she feel like you could sense that she felt like a complete ass. Like, she did pretty good.
Yeah. She did. Honestly, Bella Ramsey's acting was to me it was on point in this episode, and it was funny to see Pedro Pascal. Well, it was funny to see Joel's character really take a moment to say goodbye to these people that he buried, and Ellie's like, let's just move on because I'm sick of losing people, And I think that was the whole purpose of this episode, because like I said, in the game, these two characters drove that relationship between Joel and Ellie, where Joel had to like console Ellie and make her understand like this is a part of the world, like you need to learn from this and you need to move on, versus just sulking and moping around and that's it. And I think that's what they're going to explore in the TV show. They're going to use this as the reason for them to develop their relationship further. I hope that's the case. I saw the teaser for episode 6 came out, but I didn't watch it yet, so I have no idea what to expect from it. I'll take a look for at it after, maybe while we're checking out Hogwarts, just to see what it's about. But yeah, so sorry. Was that it for your thoughts, Hybrid? Sorry, I cut you
No,
off.
it's fine. Yeah, continue.
No, but that's
Okay.
it.
I'll be right back in like 2 seconds. I'm just gonna switch the laundry.
Oh,
That's right.
otherwise it's the last of us in this house.
He's gonna have The Last of Us in his laundry.
Bananas says, the way I saw the last scene, it was just her feeling defeated, not being able to save the boy, but also what you said. Yeah, pretty much. Like I mean, like I gave Bella Ramsey a lot of shit in the previous episode because, like I said, I felt like her acting's not on point and she was just belting out her lines, you know. And the reason why I felt that was because her lines were copy paste from the game. I felt like that was the director or the writers of the episode saying, "No, you have to say this line because that line is said in the game." You know, there's no direction on how to do it properly. It just says, "Say this line. Make sure you fit it in there." You know, whereas the scenes in this episode that I thought was great acting was the scenes when they weren't speaking, when they had to convey an emotion, when she had to observe Henry take his life, when Joel genuinely feared for Ellie being killed. Those are the moments where I thought the best acting happened. So
When they actually had to act.
yeah. So
No,
yeah,
I agree. It was great. Like I actually really liked the episode. Well, I'm also a big. I like my action.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought the episode was pretty good. I still think all the backstory crap was rushed,
Yep.
but like I'm not complaining about it
Is
per
it
se.
is it your best
It was
episode so far?
rushed. As far as action goes, yeah.
Mm.
As far as Last of Us content, like to be fair, I don't know. Like I've already played the game, so I'm a little over the whole like relationship thing. Like I've already seen it, so it's not.
Hmm. No, I get it.
No,
I
it's
get
just
it.
I've already seen it, so like I can't. I don't care as much. Like it'd be cool to see. It'd be cool to see like portrayed in
Hmm.
live action and everything. But like I'm not. I'm watching the TV show to watch a TV show at this point.
Yeah,
So
but
I thought this episode was cool. It had like a bunch of action. At least I understood what was going on. Blah blah blah. The episode before, like I like the development, but I didn't really find it as strong of an episode, like an engaging episode. Like I thought that while watching it, I kind of like teetered off a bit to go like, I wonder what else I need to be doing. You know, okay, cool. They're still just chilling and talking about things. Oh, look, 2.5 Men girl. And then, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it wasn't
Um,
as engaging. Like this one was more engaging because it actually had a little more stakes, albeit the stakes weren't really as drawn, but still, like
oh, Nana's Bananas asking if there's going to be more episodes with the bloater. I know
I
there's
hope
going to be
so.
more. There's going to be more. The, the,
I hope
the,
so.
the bloater
The
plays a
gym.
huge role. Oh, the gym part's gone. That was supposed to happen
Oh,
with
yeah, I
Bill.
know. It
But
just would have been cool.
they're going to go to the University of Wisconsin or something, where they're supposed to find the Firefly's initial base of operations. And that's where they bump into a serious bloater. And it's actually a turning, well, not a turning point, but it's actually a problem in the game. Like a big one, one that you have to come around. And I'm pretty sure they're gonna. So the bloaters, he should make a comeback for that scene, anyways.
It's not just one bloater, right? So
No, there's not just one, but there's very few of them because my understanding is that in the world, it takes about 14 years for something to turn into a bloater, and they often don't make it that far.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so I'm really curious to see if they're gonna to explore that. And um, the other thing I wanted to mention, what you said about the action, I love the action scenes that they built out in the episodes. Like in episode 4, after the truck crashed into the shop and Joel was taking people out, I loved it. In this scene, the action scenes, in episode 5, it was quite good. Like Joel defending them and them trying to make it through the streets of the village and whatnot. To be honest, it's good
Yeah.
action. Like
I thought it was pretty good.
it's not cheesy action. It's not unbelievable, like, Fast and Furious action. No, it was believable, risky moments in the TV show. But what I'll say is that, like, you had mentioned that you're over the relationship, like you've seen it develop and flourish, or you're more here to see how they can portray the the challenges that they would have to overcome. What the reason why I'm so invested in the relationship is because the action moments in the game to me are only heightened by that emotion. Like
That's fair.
if you were to cut to a scene like this, okay, this is gonna be like spoilers for people that didn't play the game, but if you were to like start an episode and you just see Ellie like on top of a guy's chest with a machete and slicing his face up with no explanation, you'd be like, damn, that's fucking brutal, you know? But if you go back and then you find out that's actually the guy who tried to who's a cannibal and tried to make a move on her, and Joel is back somewhere with a hole in his stomach and she's worried about him. She just wants to get medicine. Like, you see, emotional storyline that builds up is what made that scene so intense to me. It was all that crap that led her to want to slice this man's face up, you know? So that's why I'm still invested in the story, and I want to, because for me, action for the sake of action, like I can watch The Walking Dead for that, you know. I think I
No, no, I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
you think the
Because
story,
like,
the emotions
'cause, like,
better in The Walking
no, no,
Dead?
no. Okay, here I'll explain. Because like I was reading what Anna banana
Oh, okay.
that and then banana. I was reading what they were saying, and yeah, yeah, I do agree that having too much action is boring. But like outside of 5 minutes of people
Please.
shooting, the last episode basically like had almost nothing of real substance. It's like that's why people don't. I don't know. To hear like, how do I explain this? Like normal conversations are boring. Exaggerated conversations are more entertaining to listen to. You still need like a hook. And to me, just I don't know, talking amongst each other is just it drifts. I drift a little. I happen to drift a little when it lasts a little too long.
But you
And I
see,
thought that episode 4 was a lot of talking.
yeah, I agree.
It's really just that simple. It's just it was a lot of fucking talking. And like I found that like because there's a lot of talking, the sense of urgency wasn't there. You're in a new town. You should have a sense of urgency when people attack you.
Yes,
So
but you see,
I don't know.
At least,
It's
at
like
least, at least keep the threat like a bit
yeah,
alive there. 'Cause
it's like
it just seems like all these episodes outside of I don't know, like the second one, there hasn't really been much you've seen of the zombies, or even much to see with
pretty much because like they're an
like the
underlying
raiders
threat,
or
right?
yeah.
Like they're
I guess
there. Why are these places so abandoned? I get that it's not you don't want it to portray like just another zombie movie, but at the same time you're practically portraying it like they don't exist. Like the people are like, don't go outside of the walls, you might get fucked up. Well, so far apparently not really. You could just ride through the countryside, no problem.
yeah.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like the sense of urgency wasn't there. In this episode, there was a sense of urgency. Like people were trying to actively find these people. It wasn't action packed until really the last, like what, 10, 15, 20 minutes of the episode.
Pretty much, yeah.
but
And like
can
it was
you
cool.
agree? Can you agree that the sense of
Huh?
urgency was killed or dampened for the motivation behind the reason why they were looking for them?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
It
Yeah.
felt stupid.
I'm not really, I don't really care about the reason, to be fair. Like the guy
I
basically
honestly
really had
thought that
really
like
pretty
when
much
you
half the
first
town. Like, what?
no,
Go
I
What
ahead.
was
was,
it?
no, I was gonna say I honestly thought like whatever was going on at the beginning of the whole episode, where you see people getting like lynched and everyone's getting killed. I thought this was just like maybe stuff that was happening before the pandemic, like people were in panic.
Right?
But then it was just like, oh, she's just aimlessly killing people for the sake of aimlessly killing people. Again, it seemed pointless.
No, but that was a
It was
flashback.
also no, that's what I'm talking about. Like it
Okay.
seemed like it was a nice like it seemed like it was a flashback, but it seemed like a pointless flashback just to show that she was just aimlessly killing people. There was no real
Well,
substance to the reason that she was
no,
killing
that's
everybody
not what
there.
I got from that. I got that even Joel mentions that at one point. He said that KC Fedra was the worst, meaning Kansas City. And she said it like Fedra in that state. They were brutal as fuck. They were raping people. They were taking things away from them. They were apparently the worst. So this was basically the people saying enough and taking out Fedra in the most brutal ways that they could because of what they did to them. That was my understanding of it, unless I'm not remembering it correctly. Bananas. I guess I'm not totally interested in the whole zombie aspect. I don't care for it too much. I'm interested in the social human aspect of it, how they're surviving day after day, and not just killing zombies. It takes a lot of emotional strength to survive that kind of reality. Wow, she's getting deep. But I
I
think
don't
that's
know,
what the
but
hybrid's saying.
I don't know.
But
Like that feels like you kind of want to see them like try and build like I don't know like a garden and watch them build that garden and do something with that garden and feed people with that garden. But you know they have the zombies they have to worry about. They have to have that sense of urgency to like they have to bring the zombies into it so
that's for
you can
zombie.
see like oh that's why they have to barely be able to build that garden like that whole scene with Frank and Bill when they build the strawberries like you understood that like for
They
them it was like a miracle thing to build that whole to make strawberries and enjoy something that they had from a long time ago that was nice but you had the zombies there to kind of like bring that out of them to show them like that it was something of substance rather than just like, oh, cool, they're surviving, they're doing this thing. It's like, okay, let's get a bit more of that, but have the zombies there to show, like have some kind of sense of urgency or have something that's going on to make them try and keep that alive. I think you still kind of need the zombies to kind of I don't know how to put it, but I think you understand what I'm trying to get at.
Well,
Like
okay,
to have them as a driving point. I think is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
To have them as a
because like
motivating
basically it's
factor.
like the difference between Last of Us and Fallout. Like
Yeah,
once they're like, okay, cool, you have like the social interaction, human aspect, blah blah, and like that's cool. But like on one aspect, like think about it like socially and the human aspect. Do you really expect a lot of people to be like, man, I really care about this person. I'm gonna do anything for it in a post-apocalyptic world realistically, or are they gonna like do pretty much what the opposite happens, like rape, pillage, this, look out for number one, etc., etc. Like,
I don't.
does that make
Yeah,
sense before?
like
Like I don't know, like
I'm
the
torn.
human aspect. I just feel like the human aspect in reality wouldn't be nearly as strong. So to watch it in the show and then assume that you also shouldn't see zombies, which are the driving point to human extinction to begin with,
Hmm.
seems a little faulty. But I could also understand that too much zombies is a dumb thing.
But yeah, it's just Banana Banana says I agree with that to have them as a driving point. And yeah, I think that's correct. You need to have them as a driving point. You need to have them as a motivating factor and as the reason why the story is pushing forward. And I have to admit that in this show, they're kind of failing to like you said, he drove through the whole fucking countryside, not a damn thing was there. Joel explained that they won't be infected out here because it's too far from the city and that kind of stuff, and because it's a hive mind, they have to grow these tentacles and touch each other and speak to each other. So I think that's why there's these large areas where there's nothing, there's no zombies, you know.
That's fair.
And no, but
It seems a little like
but to me that
if I were to
kind of
argue
took away.
if I were to argue the opposite, like their whole point is to infect all humans, right? So why wouldn't there be roamers?
Well, that's it. And in the game, there were.
Yeah, and the game there very much was.
They were all
I
over.
was actually gonna say that I found the first couple of seasons of The Walking Dead did a pretty good job of that. Like you had the whole survival aspect, but the zombies were constantly around. They like
Which
you knew that
in
they
the
were
town,
there,
but
but
the
they
country plus people.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like I found the begin like like I said I haven't seen anything past season 4, but everything that they were doing up until like the beginning seasons when they were trying to set up everything and they were having all the human interaction, but you knew that the zombies were there and you knew that something was going to happen with them and they were a real threat, but they were still trying to survive. I thought that they executed that a lot better than the way Last of Us is at the moment.
Yeah.
Like it literally
Zombies,
feels like
yeah.
the zombies are just like they're there. They're obviously there to be that bit of a threat on the side, but they don't really. They're not. I don't feel that they're using them to their absolute strength right now.
Oh yeah, no. I feel like it's just again it suffers from the TV. It's TV. They have to just rush everything. I feel like if they didn't rush everything, you could probably get that proper grasp of the social interaction, human aspect of it, and the proper grasp of like zombies being a threat. Because like in the game, you literally could take your time. You could, well, you could kill random people. You could not kill random people. You could just do whatever. Like
Yeah, you can get through sections without hurting
scenario.
anyone. Yeah.
Exactly. This is the scenario you're given. Take your time and take what you will. But the show is like you have 9 episodes to put in fucking 30 hours of gameplay. And every interaction
I'm still
between
trying to see how they're gonna do it, considering like you said, the seventh episode is supposed. It seems like it's gonna be the whole left behind.
Well, the title is Left Behind, so I'm assuming
So
it's going to be an early flashback.
yeah, so it's like that episode is probably going to be taking that whole thing into account, but that was in the middle of the whole winter episode. So what's episode A is going to be the end of that, which I think we all know where that's going to be heading. So what is going to be left after that? Like how are they going to tie everything up at the end into a nice little bow? Is it going to be if it's a 1 hour episode? I feel like they're not going to have enough time to properly tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
And if they bring it into another season, I feel like how are they going to drag on a whole season? Or are they going to just be like, oh yeah, here's the part what happens with Ellie and all that, and now let's go into Last of Us 2, which I think people might lose interest at that point.
Yeah. And as Bananas
it depends how they
I
really
hope-
go. It depends how they go about it, really.
Yeah, I still I want to see how they're going to do it. I hope it's done well. 'Cause, like I feel like there's been episodes or some TV show where you're like, I don't think they can recover it, or it's going bad, and then after they
I,
somehow like,
I don't think they can do season 2 the way they're doing season 1. If they want to do season 2, they're literally gonna have to turn it into a CW show.
yeah,
Because if you boil down The Last of Us 2 just to its story elements, which is what TV is, telling a story, not gameplay, not immersion, not experience. Okay, that's what TV is. A video game is different. You get the story, you get the immersion, you get the experience, you get the gameplay, you get it all. If you boil down The Last of Us 2 to just its story, which is all the TV can represent, it's just another CW show. No one will give a fuck. Nobody will give a fuck. Yeah, and as Banana says, it's 30 hours of gameplay, but 5 hours of cutscenes. But a lot of the things that you're seeing in the show, though, was like in game also.
Yeah, I
Like
disagree with that statement.
it's
they've got,
in game banter while you're playing. You know, it's not just the cutscenes.
no,
That's how
they've done
you
a
get
good job
most
of,
of the
of
characters,
tying
right?
it.
In game
Yeah.
banter during the gameplay.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's when you truly see. I feel bad for the people that are seeing just The Last of Us, the TV show, or like Bananas is one of those people that watch just the cutscenes of the game. She didn't actually play through it. It's like you're missing out on a lot of story, and you're missing out on a lot of experiences that develop these characters further. You know. But it's fine if it's not your thing to play the game. Then I get it. You know, you're only interested in watching the cutscenes. That's okay. Actually, when I was watching the episode last night, the one question did pop into my mind. It popped into me and my wife's mind. We both had the exact same reaction. After they buried them, both of them, this cordyceps fungus / mushroom thing that uses the underground to grow and spread its tendrils. By burying that little boy, didn't they just like spread the infection?
It's kind of true.
How's that
I guess if it actually survives, because I mean, whenever you seem to get shot in the head, the zombie basically dies. So I feel like it's a one and done kind of thing, but I do totally get what you mean, because I was even thinking about that too.
I was like, wait, you just buried the fungus that supposedly uses the ground to spread its tendrils and call more zombies. You know what I mean? I thought it was such a strange thing to see that they didn't explain it at all. So, yeah. Aw, look at that. He's getting the kisses, he's getting the bizoos.
That's right.
Hello.
You had fun?
Yes.
Yeah.
I got you popcorn. What are you eating?
What did she say? She's getting you popcorn?
Yeah, she got me popcorn.
He already ate. He muted himself. He's describing what he ate.
You wanted us to hear about the eating of the popcorn, just nothing else.
Oh, she's not giving me my popcorn.
Here,
Goddamn.
take off my thing.
Okay.
Take off my thing.
Okay.
For those that are watching, that are only listening to the podcast and can't see it,
Oh,
he's asking her to remove the pegging device.
What? My pegging device. I have nothing. There's nothing in my butt right now.
Well, right now.
I mean, but get out of there. I'm feeling violated. No, I'm good.
He's feeling violated.
Bye.
See ya. So yeah, that's all I got for the episode. Honestly, to me, if I had to give it a score out of 10, it'll probably be like a 6.5, maybe a 7.
Yeah, I'd at least give it about a 7. I liked everything else that was going on with the episode outside of Caitlyn. It was just that was it just felt like they tacked it on there to be like, here's a bit of something to go on with Henry and Sam, which didn't really change anything between Henry and Sam.
No,
honest.
well, they made the boy deaf for some reason. Don't know why. Like,
Probably just to get some more sympathy votes for him, or just to make his scene a little bit more impactful. Again,
But was it?
Didn't really. Maybe.
no,
It
no.
didn't
But
really
if you
change
compare it to scene in the game when he's talking to Ellie and announcing that he's scared and how do you deal with the fear and that kind of stuff, to me the scene in the game was a lot more impactful.
I don't know if the actor is deaf, but
Probably
if it was, then I guess it's just to fill in the role.
to check that box.
Yeah, I guess
Are
you
you
could
black?
say.
Check. Are you deaf? Check. This is PT's method of gauging people, apparently.
Well, yeah,
But
it's like
no,
Bill
but like
Burr.
Ugh.
I feel like it helped a little bit because like you kind of want to feel a little bit more for the kid outside of him just being a kid. Like he's like, oh, he's a kid and he's deaf too, so he can't really hear some of the stuff going around on the outside world. He can't really communicate some of his stuff the way you normally would, you know.
You know,
Yeah.
you say that,
So
but I feel like he had zero problems doing anything so far. Like the show showed no problems outside of like the fact that he couldn't hear.
That's it.
Like,
yeah,
he,
I
Like
don't
like
know.
he
he
didn't have
still
any
hid under the car.
challenges.
His
Yeah.
brother still helped him. Like he had no challenges. There was literally no purpose of him being deaf outside of just for the sake of doing it.
Exactly. To me, it was
I'm not.
being deaf for the
Yeah.
sake of being deaf. That's all it
I would
was.
understand,
Yeah.
like, okay, there's clickers. Oh, he could relate, you know, or he could opposite relate,
Yeah.
or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
I
you're
feel
blind, you're
like
deaf,
with
you guys.
clickers. He'd be way more screwed with
His
clickers.
his brother's teaching
Just
him.
walk around casually.
His brother's
Just
teaching him like
walking
walk
casually.
around.
Oh, that would be fucked up. Turning around and see a clicker in your face about to murder you, and you'd even notice.
Yeah, no
Man.
kidding.
Oh shit! Would that make for a really good like horror game? Where you're completely deaf, you hear like muffled everything, you're just completely deaf. You turn around, something's right in your face because you didn't even notice it come up on you.
Yeah, that would make a pretty
Call-
good concept for a game.
Called the game called Heart Attack.
You can survive without having one. You can beat the game.
You won at life. You're not dead. You win.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah, this is. I don't know. I feel like him being deaf has served no real purpose outside of going like he's deaf.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. It just felt like they were trying to add in that more dramatic effect to it. But yeah, it really didn't change much.
Yeah.
It basically felt like the same thing with Caitlyn or whatever her name was. It didn't really add much of anything. There was no substance.
No, like Caitlin's like when she was in her childhood bedroom describing what she was when she was playing with her brother in the bedroom to Tommy. I couldn't give two shits. I was like, can we move on
Yeah.
now? Like, can we be done with this shit already? Like, it's
Yeah.
strange because in the video game they went through that town, they met the raiders, they escaped them, and that scene where Joel was defending Ellie, Sam, and Henry from the raiders who were also being attacked by zombies at the same time. All that happened in the game, and for some reason it felt more threatening than it did
Yeah.
in this show.
Yeah.
It felt a lot more threatening. I don't know. They just I don't know. They had to squeeze in Caitlyn somehow, I guess. So
No, like I said, it feels like they're just trying to give all these side characters more of a reason for being there outside of what they were in the game. But I felt like the reason in the game was pretty good as it was. I guess you want to put in a little bit more flair for the TV aspect of it.
I
But
could have actually
don't-
went with less.
Yeah,
Like if it was just these are like a raider or militia group. These guys are running away because whatever, like maybe they took a med for the kid and blah blah blah. Like you could still explore the brothers' relationship and everything, but you
Yeah.
didn't like everything else just felt like it was there and it gave you so much intrigue for literally no fucking reason. I still personally believe, like from the last episode, that if they were just fucking mercenaries and you knew nothing about them outside of their threat, it would have made for a better thing.
yes,
yeah,
agreed.
no, I
agreed.
just like in the game.
It would have felt
That's
more
what I
threatening.
was-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And then you could have the
it's letting your
conversation with
imagination run wild. It's letting your imagination run wild. What they can and can't do, what they feel and what they don't
Exactly.
feel. But right now,
Like
it's
the
like you're
entire-
telling me, you're like, no, she's gonna sing the 2.5 Men song, and she's going to have a soft voice, and she's going to miss her brother. It's like-
Because like they had like, oh, his brother was a great guy. He was leader of revolution. Blah 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 blah. Like it's like every description. He was a great guy, but he was soft on these people. But he was leading a revolution, a rebellion, whatever the fuck. It kind of sounds like he should have been a lot harder of a guy. Oh, but you should forgive them for turning me in. You know what I mean? Like you don't
Yeah.
know enough about him to drive these actual points across. It's like, okay, what is he? Is he harsh? Is he this? Is he this? Is he all of the above? What is he? Oh, but he's dead and we'll never see him.
and now she's dead, and we'll never know.
You know, and then
quite
she
frankly, I
dies
don't
and
give a
everyone
fuck.
gets wiped out and you're like, what was the point?
It was empty.
they-
It was emptiness.
I
It was
don't
pure
know.
crap.
Like
But-
I feel like if you're not going to give a real point, then you shouldn't have even tried. Just make them unknown, make them the driving point of that whole scenario, and then you could still have the outcome.
But I want to ask Hybrid a question about a comment he made earlier about how when it's dialogue, just like regular dialogue banter, how it creates for a boring moment. and that kind of
It
stuff.
depends. Really, realistically, it depends. I was a little occupied. Their side occupied. My bad. But
Okay.
it really depends. Like if it's to develop a relationship, so be it. But if we're walking around going like, we need to find X, Y, Z, and you
Mhm.
need to define this, and we need to go here, 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 but you never really learn any importance behind it. I find it's just pointless.
Mhm.
Like I feel like it's filler. And a lot of
Mm.
shows do that. They add filler, and you're like, okay, what was the point of that? Oh, you're never gonna explore that. You're just gonna move on. Cool.
Yeah.
I was intrigued for no fucking reason.
Well, it's filler, but also I think it's the writers trying to display their prowess, right? Because to me, the ultimate true test of a proper writer is somebody who can take a regular conversation and spin it into something terribly interesting and intriguing. Like,
Sometimes, man, less is more, and you gotta just give up with nothing.
That's
Yeah.
why I kind of like to just like it might be getting off track of it, but that's why I kind of liked a lot of the old school way of doing movies and TV shows, where they gave you less, but there was so much more that was involved.
yeah, I agree. But like, for instance,
Nowadays they
if I were
just
to think, if I were to think of like a conversation that was happening, a regular conversation between two characters that leads up to something important, you know. But as far as we can tell, it's just banter. If you were to just read the script, is a lot of Quentin Tarantino movies, you know. Like if you take the conversation in Glorious Bastard with the glass of milk, it's just a regular conversation. If you look at the
Oh my
conversation
God.
in Django, when he's just pouring a beer and talking about, hey, what is bounty hunting? He just explains what bounty hunting is, you know. Like those are, and again, in Glorious Bastards again, when he's having that pastry thing and he's questioning Shoshana in the restaurant, it's just a conversation. But the way that the conversation develops and the way that the actors deliver their lines and the scene is filmed, it comes off amazing, you know. And I'm not saying
Yeah.
that TV should have the fucking Quentin Tarantino writers for their episodes,
Because then
but
you would have like a half an
no,
hour
but-
long segment.
This
But-
is like a case where you have like the words, but the actions are telling you something different.
yes, well,
Right.
no, but that's it. If you're going to have a conversation like in a TV, like in The Last of Us, where you're just going to have a regular ass conversation, have the actions portray something. You know, don't just say.
Why I like this. That's why I like this episode, because from time to time, like you said, when with the discussion on who the bad guy is and like you could see on Joel's face what he actually means, but he doesn't really say anything.
From
Or
his
like with the
silence,
soldier, or with the soldier, he's like, okay, kill these people, whatever. You could see on his face that he knows is not a right thing to do, but
Yeah,
he's
it's
also
true. You're
devoted.
right.
Like in this episode, that's why I like this episode. Like it's not just for the action, but it's just outside of a crappy backstory for the militia, you have like you have extra. You have like the facial recognitions, the actions behind everything, the outcome. What the fuck is that crap pulsating in the floor? Like it gave
Yeah.
a little bit more answer, or at least a little bit more intrigue, a little bit more conclusion to what was going on.
Yeah.
Which is my problem of the fourth one, is just I was just, what the fuck is going on? You gave me this long-winded crap for what?
And by the way, is it just me, or in this scene, when you saw the horde of zombies come up from the ground and attacking people, they just completely abandoned the whole, you know, here is my tendril face suckers, and I'm going to be feeding it into you.
What?
They just straight up
To
turned
me-
into, I'm going to eat you.
I would love
Yeah.
to see that scene again, but to me it looked like it was just like a hive of clickers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true, because clickers take more time to develop, and they said that they shoved these things on the ground years ago.
Hence why there's a bloater.
Yeah.
It looked like it was literally an army of clickers with the bloater, and they just rush, right? They don't sit there and try to make out with you.
Yeah. There was no making out being done this game, this episode, so that's great. But yeah, again, yeah, and again, it calls back to what you were saying, like how I felt the emotion from Ellie and Joel also, because of the silence, because of their actions, not their words, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And the end, man, I really liked the end. Like I basically took it as Ellie felt like she failed.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Like I get the giving up and getting fed up and blah blah blah, but like the failure, like the I'm sorry is literally an admission of defeat.
Yeah. Now I'm really curious. I want to see the preview for episode 6, which I'll check out after this, but yeah. So I think we
Today, right, Dan?
Yeah. Yeah.
lying motherfucker. So yeah. So did you want to? How do you guys want to do this now? For do you guys want to check out Hogwarts or no?
No, I don't mind. It's I guess it's more for you guys.
It's mostly PT because you're the one playing it, but I'll definitely blab if you want me to talk the
Yeah,
entire
I'm gonna
time.
blab the whole fucking time.
I
you
will
play.
make fun of these little magic kids. Fuck it.
Seriously.
Let's get to it. Then let me end this real quick, and I'll.
What did I
set
call it?
myself
Fairy
up.
dust fighters or something like that?
Okay, give me 2 seconds.
Go, glitter.
I'm still gonna be in Discord.